Good morning, everyone. My name is Olga Peña. I am one of the leaders of the Immigrant and International Women in Science Network, and I'm here today with Senator Rosa Galvez to celebrate International Women's Day. It is my pleasure and my honor to be here with you, Senator. Senator Rosa Galvez is the first female Latin senator in Canada, and we are here basically to know more about you. So thank you so much for having us and to be here to give us the opportunity to interview you today. So tell us a bit more about your science story, like how, explain a little bit about the research that you were doing when you were working at Laval University, and what was your basically major accomplishment at that time, and that eureka moment that when that happened.
My view of the environmental engineering field started growing. And then I went into remediation, and you talked about eureka moments. And I remember, being able to develop process that will clean water, that will clean soils. Mm-hmm. And I was very happy. That thrilled many projects. And I didn't stop until today.
Good that you have that support and family support and good role models, but in the development of your scientific career, do you have any barriers that you remember that, whether it were financial or any kind of this that you would like to?
Absolutely. It will be, I would be lying very, very badly if I say that the professional life was a very quiet river. No, it was turbulent, and there was a lot of storms. And, well, in Latin America, we are in general, very positive people, and we tend to see our glass half full and not half empty. Yes. And I think that that is a good attribute, a good attitude to have in life, because when women go into areas where it's dominated by in this case, male, it's tough. It gets very tough. And you have to be solid, and you have to be stubborn, and you have to have a clear mind to not to shy, not to bend, not to be quiet and accept things. So you have to speak your mind, and sometimes you have to raise your voice. And sometimes you have to stand up, but I always say that it's while we swim against the current that we build muscle. Exactly. So I think that today I can say with confidence that I'm muscled.
So from that experience, when you arrived to Canada, how was that first year? We all as immigrants, we go through that rough time of missing family, missing your food, missing many things. How was that experience? How was the major culture shock that you found? How did you adjust to the weather in Canada? So can you tell us a bit more about that?
Oh, yes, yes. I arrived to Toronto Airport, and it was the first time I had taken a long flight. It's like, I think it's 10 hours or something from Lima. And it was in beginning of March, and I remember coming out of that plane, and for some reason there was no enough isolation of the corridor, so there was this wind that passed through, and it was freezing. And I remember saying, we all think that hell is hot, but I think that hell can be cold too. So I was scared. I never felt that degree of temperature so cold, but life, you pass by different stages. When I first arrived in Canada, my favorite season, it was summer, but then later it was spring. And now, my favorite season is fall. I just love the colors. The colors are beautiful. I think the important thing is to go out and enjoy the seasons and go with the weather.
Indeed, that's pretty much, I totally agree with that. Like, that's how I take life nowadays after 12 years living in Canada. Embrace the weather and go out, because otherwise you will really hibernate, and that's not good for your health. So, okay, so now let's shift gears a bit more to what you do today. So we talk about you as a woman in science, you as an immigrant, which that's why this is the perfect example for our network as Immigrant Women in Science. But today you are a senator, and you are the first female and Latino senator in Canada. So what inspired you to be here and to run for this office?
In my new reality, I am the first Latino senator, but I am also the only engineer that is in the Senate, and I'm the only scientist, and I also carry the hat of having an Aboriginal origin, indigenous origin. So I'm the chair of this very important committee, which presently is studying Bill 69, which is the modernization of the Environmental Impact Act and modernization of the Energy Board. So these are very important bills. I also participate in the development of the Arctic, because in the Arctic is where climate change has its biggest impact in whole Canada, so this is very important.
So to close our interview today, so what is your advice to women in STEM and to immigrants and visible minorities to overcome barriers that they have in their careers and in the development of their goals, of achieving their goals?
I will start by, don't be shy, ask the questions, and because sometimes, opportunities are there, but we think we won't be able, or they won't choose me, and we start putting ourselves obstacles. So the first is to ourselves take out the obstacles and say, I can do this, I can do this. Give yourself a chance. We cannot know everything from day one, but we can learn. So say, okay, I don't know today, but I know where to find the information. I know I can get better at this with language, with the skills, with the knowledge. The network is very important. We know that alone by myself I can go to a certain distance, but when we have a support group, we can make this distance longer. So network is very important. And I think the last one is not forgetting the emotional part and the personal and the social part of it, which is establishing links not only with our own kind, but with the whole fabric of the social, because Canada has lots of immigrants from all over the world, and it's important, it's nice to meet people from around the world.
And it's amazing when you meet people from all different cultures, right? Like
absolutely. Really, we have a lot of things in common when you start discussing. You see that you like nature, that you like cooking, you like spicy, you like music.
And that's what I love indeed from Canada. Like in my neighborhood, I have pretty much like a little world around all my neighbors. So that's the awesome part of that. Okay, so thank you so much again for having us today. So as I say, you are a perfect example of what this network is. You are a woman, you are an immigrant, and you have achieved so much, and now you're doing so much for our country as in your senator role. So thank you so much for still doing what you're doing today.